Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your second Pro Dota 2 Asia match of the day. Today we'll be casting AL versus Orange. I'm your host, LD, and we have AL on the Radiant, Orange on the Dire. AL, of course, on that Radiant side will at least get the first pick going their way, as well as the first ban. So we immediately see Darkseer Broodmother banned out, and if you've ever watched Orange before, they're a team that really favor, and a lot of the more aggressive Southeast Asian teams like the Style 2. You'll even see IG do this. Although they're a Chinese team, they like to have these mobile kind of split push style heroes that can spread the map, heroes that don't necessarily need too much backup to be successful. And of course, Broodmother is always just a pain in the butt to deal with, a great pushing hero. But particularly against a team like Orange, makes a lot of sense to see that banned out. So the question is, who's going to slip through? Because nowadays everyone, or every game has some, supposedly imbalanced here getting through. Whether it's the Chaos Knight, the Panda, the Prophet, who does get the ban this turn, even Chen. I mean, Chen is a hero that for a while had the highest win rate out of any hero in the game. I think it was up around 75% a couple of months back, and I believe he's dropped off since then, especially since there have been more Asian games being played. And really, Chen tends not to be as successful in the Southeast Asian scene in particular. Although some of those teams do quite well with him. But he's still one of the higher win rate here, still one of the stronger heroes.
10 seconds remaining.
Speaking of heroes that get a lot of love in terms of picking, Windrunner is available too. Probably not a first pick style hero or level of hero, but definitely a strong hero. And some of the teams do favor it to that degree.
Dire team ban.
And in fact, it will be a Windrunner ban. This is AL doing the research, understanding Orange. Of course, Darkseer is just a hero that pretty much never makes it through. I would say if there's one hero that just is always banned along with Lycan, it is the Darkseer. I think those are the two single most banned heroes. I'd actually have to look at the numbers. And of course they're a little bit skewed because some heroes have been out longer than others. But especially nowadays, Darkseer is just such a powerful hero and well respected. So Invoker will be one that slips through. Windrunner actually gets the ban, but Queen of Pain, a hero that Orange could definitely look to employ. And of course this is Orange, so I would be remiss if I did not mention a couple of heroes, particularly the Morphling. Morphling is a hero that they love to run. Anti-mage an option as well. They love that mobile, aggressive hard carry, but to pick one up against a Chaos Knight, well, that is a dangerous proposition. And of course, Chaos Knight, he slips through. He's going to get that first pick. No surprises there. If you haven't played against this guy yet in either a pub game or watched him in a pro game, Chaos Knight is really a hero that could do it all. He's a great initiator. He's very tanky. He's got good damage just innately. Before you even pick up his crit, his base damage, while it has a wide range, he's got the most variable damage range in the game. The difference between his minimum potential auto attack damage and his maximum is by far the largest. It's not even close. But hey, he's the Chaos Knight. That's why he gets that range. I mean, it's only fitting. It would be kind of weird if his damage range wasn't the largest and most chaotic in the game. Still, his base damage is great. His strength gain is fantastic. I want to say it's 2.9 strength per level, one of the highest in the game, and especially for a hero that has so many other great abilities already, plus a built-in crit chance, one of the better crits, 10% for 10% chance to do 300% damage, plus your illusions do full damage. But of course, the reason this hero is picked up is not for his late game potential, although he's got it. It's for his all-around versatility, his ganking, his initiation. So powerful if played aggressively with the correct backup. And AL already looking to be very aggressive here. Queen of Pain, Chaos Knight, and Enchantress. Would not be surprised at all to see an offensive tri-lane. We could also see a dual lane mid with the Chaos Knight. Whatever they want to go for, they have a lot of options. But in a couple of the games I've seen recently where Chaos Knight has not done well in the pro scene, Shadow Demon is the hero that actually gives him a lot of trouble because you blink in, you initiate. Chaos Knight is a single target damage dealer. His ultimate, in theory, you can hit multiple targets, but generally speaking, he's got a single target stun. His Reality Rift is single target. If you go on one hero, Shadow Demon disrupts either that hero or you. Suddenly, that hero has a great chance to escape. So, against those single target initiators, Chaos Knight can be somewhat or that Shadow Demon can be a very powerful counter. Still, we'll have to see. It is not neither banned nor picked in this first stage, and generally Shadow Demon will get banned in the second stage unless a team just doesn't respect him. But I think he's the most popular support right now. You can make an argument for Crystal Maiden. Vengeful Spirit has her place in sort of these aura strats and aura stacking, as well as just if you want to counter to something like an Enigma or an initiating support. Venomancer, of course, we've seen how strong he is with Gale and the wards. Both of these teams definitely need their supports.
5 seconds.
I'd be very
remaining.
surprised if Orange run the leshrac and the Sand King both as supports. It's certainly something you can do,
Reserve
but generally you
time.
at least want one of these heroes to be getting farm. To have a 4 and 5 position filled by a Sand King and a leshrac, it's kind of a recipe for a disaster in my book, especially up against AL's lineup. Chaos Knight will just feast on that leshrac, and the Sand King, he might be safe for a little while in a Sandstorm, but expect to see some early Sentry Wards picked up if he's trying to use that on a regular basis. So I expect to see at least one more support for Orange, and then maybe a hard carry. I mentioned the Morphling and the Anti-Mage. These are both viable options. Well, I'd say viable. Viable might not be the right word. What I should say is likely options. SK plus Lina. Yeah, SK Lina is a pretty cool combination. CK can really combo with anyone, and that's the beauty of that hero. I mean, I mentioned Shadow Demon as an option, but you know, you can combo CK with heroes that are very difficult to land stuns, whether it's a leshrac, a Lina. Who else is a really difficult to land stun? Even Kunkka, if you want to do his Torrent. I mean, they're both melee, so they wouldn't lane together. But you can fit in some heroes that might not otherwise have a place in the lineup because of that CK, because of the reliability he gives you, that long range guaranteed stun that cannot be dodged. Well, you can try and get Fog him or something like that, but
remaining.
otherwise it's gonna hit you.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I'm actually just looking at the hero pool, trying to think if there's another example like the Lina that's just. Oh, you know who else? Wouldn't be bad, honestly, is a twin-headed dragon. Chaos Knight, Chaos Bolt, you throw the Icy Path on top of that, plus the Dual Breath. It sounds pretty good to me, and the nice thing about that twin-headed dragon, A, he's a good pusher because of his passive. Twin-headed dragon's passive will make towers auto-attack much more slowly, and once you level it up, it will pretty much permanently make a tower a shadow of its former self. Plus, he's a very tanky support. So, if you want to go for a tanky support who gives you some good AoE, leshrac is an option, and Chaos Knight can set up for him. Not that I expect to see one, but it would certainly be fun. And of course, Shadow Demon, no surprises here. When you see a team needs a support, Shadow Demon is the one to ban. Especially when you're up against the Chaos Knight, because that combination, Disruption, Enchantress creeps as well, and her slow, and then Chaos Knight on top of it, the Bolt, the Reality Rift. It is just such fantastic initiation, not to mention the Soul Catcher. Oh my god. That, if you ever lane against the Shadow Demon CK, you pretty much just cry yourself to sleep at night. That is a horrific matchup. Really, really Orange taking their time with this draft, to be honest. And AL as well. It's interesting because the last draft... It's funny how some games the draft is just so much... The pace just varies wildly from game to game. And even the same two teams, you may see one game, they just bang out the picks. And, you know, who knows if they're external factors, if they just feel more confident that game, if they have a better game plan in mind, or they're sort of second-guessing themselves. But for whatever reason, sometimes these drafts, the teams really cut it down to the wire. I cast a game recently, I want to say, where a team got down to the 1 second mark before they made their final pick on the bonus time. It's one of those things where, what do you do if you actually don't pick in time? Do you ask for a remake? Do you go with the random hero you get? Because it will random a hero for you. I've never seen it happen. I'm sure there are varying responses by teams depending on the situation, but of course, the solution is pick something before the time runs out. Enigma, the final ban here. And it's a good ban. If you look at Orange's lineup, not only do they have a lot of AoE, but they have a lot of level-dependent heroes. The Enigma would give them another hero who can either handle a suicide lane solo and free up the leshrac and Sand King to roam or to have an easier time, or more likely go into the jungle and give some extra lanes to these heroes. Invoker, very level-dependent. Same for the leshrac as well as the Sand King.
Crystal Maiden.
It's a very squishy lineup for AO. They go for a Crystal Maiden, another great offensive, really an offensive powerhouse. If you want a really strong offensive support, Shadow Demon is very powerful, but Crystal Maiden gives you that big AoE slow, as well as Frostbite. So much early game disable, a lot of burst damage, and really strong initiation range. 1100 total initiation range between the 700 AoE of the Nova as well as the 400 range on the cast. So it's a very powerful initiation range for her. And then you layer on top of that the Chaos Knight with his Reality Rift, the Chaos Bolt, plus the Queen of Bleek. Very mobile lineup for Ale, very strong offensively, but they're very lacking here in terms of team fight, in terms of AoEs. So if you look at Ale right now, it's obvious they want to get some early kills. They want to be aggressive with heroes early. The question is, what do they really turn that into? They don't have the best tower pushing lineup. They don't have a great mid-game team fight lineup. They have Queen of Pain and Chaos Knight, a lot of damage dealers, but no real lockdown. Nothing like a Darkseer or an Enigma, which they actually banned out themselves. No Sand King for them. No Tidehunter. Maybe we'll see a Tidehunter as the last pick. I doubt it. I don't see how it fits into their lanes. But my point is, for AO right now, they've pretty much tipped their hands. They want to get early hero kills. They want to be aggressive with the CK and the Queen of Pain. Once we see that sort of mid-game hit, that's where AL have to make their mark. Because if you go late game against a lineup like Orange's, unless you have a big farm advantage, they just have too much disable, too much AoE, too much burst damage, and too much lockdown.
5 seconds remaining.
So it's a very it's a great difference here in styles. And they go for Mirana as the final pick, so it's going to be the triple semi-carry for Ale. Queen of Pain, Mirana, and CK will be the 3 farmers, and then the Enchantress and the Crystal Maid on the support roles. So interesting for Ale, wanting to spread the map here, whereas if you look at Orange, they would love for you to group up, especially in the mid-game. So we'll have to see, can Ale spread the map effectively? The best way to do it, get early hero kills and get early towers. If you can do that, it makes ganking so much more difficult. It also makes map control a challenge. If you don't know where those semi-carries are, if you can't quickly TP to towers to ganks, you're going to be having a difficult time ganking them off. And even if you gank one, well, back in 2010, the metagame was the triple carry, sort of pioneered by 2009 in Chinese Dota, where the idea was, we'll have 3 carries, you can gank 1, you can gank 2, but someone is going to get farmed. That was the theory back then, and nowadays, we don't see as many hard carries as they picked back in the day, especially with the introduction of Smoke of the Sea and a lot of the balance changes that have been made to various heroes. The hard carries are a bit easily ganked, Shadow Fiend being one of the very popular ones back then that we don't see a whole lot of today. But what we do see is sort of a new breed of triple carry. It's not hard carries now, it's semi-carries. It's heroes like Mirana, Queen of Pain, and Chaos Knight. All of these heroes can offer you a lot in the mid-game. They don't need to get maxed out on items. They don't need an amazing start to be effective. They would like that start, certainly, but they don't need it. But for Orange, it's a support here that has really fallen out of favor in this Witch Doctor. And we actually have a pause, which for me is the perfect time to grab my coffee, because I am in desperate need of caffeine. I will be right back, guys. Alright, so we are having ourselves a quick little pause. But while we're waiting, let's go ahead and see who's playing what. Introduce the players here. For Absolute Legends, we will have, of course, Godot on his trademark jungle. That is one of the best junglers. If you haven't watched him play the jungle role before, whether it's Enchantress or Chen, his micro is very good. But really, to me, the mark of a great jungler player isn't their micro, it's not their item selection. It's their positioning and their decision-making. And Godot is one of these players, much like Puppey, who just always seems to be in the right place at the right time. Always setting up ganks properly, finding the weak points in the enemy defense and punishing them. So, Godot on that Enchantress, picks up an early Kurt as well as the smoke, immediately heads up towards the top lane with Snoopy. We may see a pseudo-offensive tri-lane, and I say pseudo because, of course, Enchantress won't sit in the lane. She'll be in and out of the jungle, but pressuring that lane constantly. Musica on the Queen of Pain. Bleek playing that Mirana. Of course, the Crystal Maiden being handled by Snoopy. Pair of Observer Wards already picked up. And Risk on the hard carry role from the looks of it. Or at least the semi-carry in that Chaos Knight. Meanwhile, for Orange, we have Ice playing the Witch Doctor. Yamateh playing the leshrac. Winter playing that Beastmaster. 600 gold in the bank. No items. Wonder if that's an accident or not. Either way, That's interesting. X on the Sandkita. Here we go. Opportunity for an early engagement here, and Ice will be the prize. Arrow hits as well as the cast bolt, but the cast comes in. The Nova, the Axe is driving back. Musical, great 2-hero Burrow Strike. Split Earth to follow on top of it. Musical blinks away. The chase now going the other way. Cast bolt coming off cooldown, but no mana for Risk. Has no mana for the cast bolt. Still, he drives X into a corner, and that high base move speed allows him to pick him up. Godot on the way out. Nova is actually going to be landed again on 3 heroes, doing a lot of damage. And of course, Invoker at level 1, very weak in terms of team fight. KYXY gets picked off as well. What an engagement for AL. 3 kills as well as the first blood claim right off the bat. Well, I said AL need to be aggressive and effective early with that aggression. I didn't expect that. Orange, of course, not the best level 1 team. Witch Doctor, although his cask is very powerful when there's no creeps, he really doesn't hit his stride until somewhere around that level 3 to 4 mark, where the cask has a couple of levels. You have at least 1 point in either the heal or the malady who's leveled up. Of course, Invoker offers you nothing in these engagements, as he does not actually get his Invoke ability until level 2. So, after that very early advantage, we see a 750 gold lead. As bad as that looks for Orange, these are only level 1 heroes being killed, so there's no and it happens before the creep spawn, so there's no farm time being missed. You're not actually giving up a lot of experience to your opponents. Although we see a level 2 here on the Chaos Knight, that first level takes a couple of seconds. In terms of the lanes, I'm not sure what AL's doing. They're dual laning a Crystal Maiden Mirana mid. Interesting. Godot in the jungle. Looks like we're going to see a roaming Chaos Knight. He's just going to abandon that top lane, look to come mid. But KYXY should have spotted this. The ward was placed right as the Chaos Knight moved in. And now we're going to see a dual lane Crystal Maiden Chaos Knight. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. And Bleek headed up towards top. This is going to be a very bad lane for Bleek. He's not going to get a whole lot of farmer levels. But importantly for him, he managed to hit level 2 off that early fight and the far mid. So he's got Arrow, he's got Leap. And that means he has his survivability skill. If you get Arrow at level 1 in one of these early engagements, and then you actually aren't able to get any kills, you can sit at level 1 for a very long time with no escape mechanism. And that's where something like a Split Earth can actually mean your death. But of course, Bleak is not going to die here. Trading a lot of blows with the leshrac, really cutting it close. Of course, he does have that salve available, and indeed, he will pop it now. Well, as strong of a 1v1 hero as Invoker is, this is actually a horrible lane for him. I mean, he has Cold Snap, he's got the range, but at any point, Snoopy can drop a Nova as well as a Frostbite, and then Risk can follow up with the Chaos Bolt, the Reality Rift as well. So much initiation range, so much control, and Invoker is just not a 1v2 kind of hero, especially at this stage. Frankly, nobody does particularly well with this lane. Invoker will be one of the better heroes to deal with it, and it looks like he may actually be going for the Wex build. 2 points of Quas picked up early. Normally, if you see the Wex build, they start off with 2 in Quas, and then go back to Wex. And I think it's the right choice here. If you're up against a team that's so strong offensively, whereas your team, they want levels, they want farm, you're probably not going to get too many kills early. Mirana, of course, having the leap. So it makes sense in that regard. Winter on the bottom lane, early boots picked up. He is stacking the Ancients, and AL have not opted to ward that off, so the Ancients will be getting stacked. It's something you could do in this bottom lane. We see it a lot in European Dota. Not as common in the Asian scene, but if you're not really able to approach the creep wave, it's the next best thing. So let's sort of take stock of what we have right now. Musica is definitely going to be winning bottom lane versus Winter. And Winter has opted for early boots. Smart choice by him because it gives him a little bit extra survivability. Actually, Witch Doctor rotates mid. The Cold Snap doing a lot of damage here to Risk, but a single Nova will put an end to any aspirations of first blood, or not first blood, what am I talking about? To a first kill here for Orange. The power of an early side lane leshrac, get that creep pull going, get the lane pushed, and with this wave, do a lot of damage to the tower. Look at the positioning by yamateh. Staying just sort of in this cone around the tower, just in range of the tower, but as far back as he can. If you ever have creeps in the area as well, you can, let's say there's some creeps fighting here, if you sort of position yourself right up here, you can actually damage the tower. Hopefully that draw isn't too messy. Without actually damaging the creeps. So Winter is actually going to eat a Chaos Bolt, as well as a couple of nukes. The Queen of Pig will get picked off. Roaming CK, I mean, this hero, if there's any hero in the game that an argument could be made that deserves a nerf, it may be CK. Because look at him, he's level 4, he's one of the better carries in the game. And he's a great ganker too. This guy can do it all. He can gank, he can carry. If you need someone in the front lines to soak up damage, well, Chaos Knight can do that easily with his 2.9 strength gain. Such a versatile hero. In the last game I cast, I actually spent a lot of time talking about Chaos Knight. Like the first minute and a half of the pick, even though he's banned. Bleek going for an arrow on the creep, maybe a misclick. So, taking stock of the lanes, of course Bleek not going to have a very good time up top. But I think he's having a better time than that Beastmaster. 11-2, winner, 0-0. And this is just how strong Queen of Pain is in the lane. I mean, even before the Chaos Knight showed up, Queen of Pain was completely zoning Beastmaster out. So this lane looks great for AL. This lane is not great, but, you know, Bleek's getting some levels. He's getting a little bit of farm here and there. Well, this is not a good situation for Split Earth. Oh, there's the leap. Dodges that one with ease. Still, the tower taking some damage. Not as much as Yamateh would like. Would be better off actually just standing near the tower and trying to damage it. But Bleek drags the creep way past it. The middle lane, AL switch things up again. They've sent Queen of Pain here. Musica 21-12, early boots and bottle. Has the basics, and that's really what he's mainly concerned with. Oh, big dive on the Yamateh, or Yamateh rather, his big dive being punished. Bleek and the Crystal Maiden picking him off. And a nice salve there by Snoopy. Early roaming for the Crystal Maiden, definitely paying off. AL just completely dominating this game in every facet. The gold, the experience. Already over 3,000 and no towers claimed yet. I mean, if you're orange, what is going to be sort of the moment that you turn things around? Whenever you drop behind this early, you have to have some sort of comeback potential, or you're just out of the game. And of course, orange, they do have that comeback potential. It comes in the form of big team fight, a lot of AoE. The concern will be, if you let the Queen of Pain, the Chaos Knight, and the Mirana have enough of a good start, it's so difficult to gank one of them off that you're going to need 3 or 4 heroes to do it. And if you need that many heroes to kill them, that means the other 2 will be getting farm or killing your team. Or killing that other hero too that's not there. Musica actually heads bottom to check the rune. Looks like someone has already picked that up. Meanwhile, Chen smoked up. Godot has just been farming this entire time. No ganks attempted by him. This will be his first smoke gank of the game. Meanwhile, Orange smoked up as well, so 2 smoke ganks happening simultaneously. Oh, I have to say, I think this is going to be so interesting. Who's going to strike first? It looks like AL is going to go in first on a kyxy. He summons the Ghost Walk. Is there dust? No, Queen of Pain comes through. And a nice damage being brought out. Musica gets burst down with ease. X on the back foot. The Nova will hit, and he's forced back. In the end, Queen of Pain is the low casualty of war in what could have been a much more bloody engagement. And a desperately needed kill for Arn. Yamateh is rotating an Edict as well. Split Earth is going to hit. Snoopy is dead. The question is, will anyone else die? No, Arn's not going to go on to Godot here, who will have to heal no matter how low he gets. Unlikely to drop to that death blow. And then he can just start healing up with ease. If we take a look at farm overall, AL, they were leading before, and only 2 heroes in orange getting farm at the moment. Just Yamateh and kyxy. That's going to be a big concern for them. They have a lot of level-dependent heroes. They also have heroes that need a decent amount of farm. Sand King, leshrac, invoker, beastmaster. All these heroes want at least a few items. Sure, one of them not having items isn't a big deal, but 2 or more, that's going to be a real problem. Especially the leshrac. He's just so damn squishy. If you don't have a couple of bracers up, Chaos Knight is going to murder you, simply with his nukes alone, let alone with the crits, the illusions. Chaos Knight is opting to max the nuke. Sometimes you'll see a single point in Phantasm early on at level 6, or even 7 or 8, just to allow you to push towers. But if you look at AL, they don't really have the best pushing power in the world. They can clear waves quickly, they can't damage towers fast, and Enchantress is the only one who can do it. But she's been off in the jungle. And look at Godot right now, already level 6, Arcane Boots picked up, Snoopy level 5, everybody getting the levels. Bleek going for a solo kill here on Ice, he's gonna get it. Haste to kyxy, they are gonna get this kill, but look what's happening in the meantime. Everybody else in AL getting farmed. Queen of Pain over in the middle lane, Brisk in the bottom, and the double jungle. So even when they get these kills, they're so expensive. And that's what happens when you give the early levels away to a mobile lineup like AL. Oh, did I say Chen Solar 424? If I said Chen, I meant Enchantress. You know what I mean. I didn't mention Holy Persuasion of the Heal, so if that's what you're talking about, you are Wrong, but Musica taking a lot of damage. Tornado not going to be enough. Will he blink away? 3 seconds. Bottling up. One more. KYXY gets the kill. Nice solo kill there. Very difficult to get one on the Queen of Pain. But KYXY does it. Meanwhile, they also get a tower top. So some momentum finally going the way of Orange. And this is where leshrac could be the key to success and the start, the real linchpin in a comeback here. He gives you that burst damage against towers. Just a leshrac alone, a level 4 edict, easily enough to bring one down. It'll take 2 edicts to bring it down, but 1 will bring it down very low. And with the help of the creep wave, it will be enough. And of course, with that early tower comes some extra gold, which he will immediately put towards items here. Point booster picked up on that leshrac. Just going for a lot of tank. Interesting that he didn't opt for the arcade boots. That is the more common choice. Whether you turn them into a bloodstone or just sit on the arcade boots. But when you're up against a Chaos Knight, a Queen of Pain, Mirana, so much burst damage, so much initiation, going pure tank makes sense. Because you need every little bit of HP to survive against that burst damage. And if you can, then you can turn things around. Orange, they have a sentry as well as an observer. Musica blinks. Oh, this might be the death of his, but Risk joins the fight as well. Tornado on 2. This looking like a bad engagement for Orange simply because Risk is too big in the front lines, but the mana burn actually going to eat all of his mana away. Oh, there comes the impetus, doing a lot of damage onto the high ground. It's not going to miss. Down goes KYXY. Blink in. They won Ice. Witch Doctor is very, very squishy. Only 1 armor, 587 HP, and there's the reality rift. Ice just getting picked off. The mobility of AL really aiding them here. Godot with the triple kill. Of all heroes, the Enchantress gets the triple. Well, 1,300 gold. That'll be a point booster if she wants it, or an early drum. A lot of options for Godot. X coming in for round 2. Burrow Strike only at 1. Gets the kill. Maybe thinking about more, but Musical will ward him off. I actually expected the Sandcage chase there. Oh, it's been a bloody start to this game. 14 kills in only 11 minutes. Still, the gold, the experience, they all favor Ale heavily. Bleek in particular, this is what we're seeing every fight. Ale might have 3 or 4 heroes fighting at most, but 1 will be farming during that fight. And if you're Orange, what can you really do? There's no hero on Orange that can solo kill a Mirana, a Queen of Pain, or a Chaos Knight. All of these heroes need help. And if you're giving them that help, that means you're struggling in the team fight. So it's just the beauty of Ale's lineup. If they got that early start, they were going to have this kind of a position where they can get farm. They might trade kills, but someone is always going to be farming for them. Arrow narrowly missing on Ice. Ooh, that would have been a bad one for him. KYXY pressuring the middle lane. Yamateh has joined the fight here. They really want to bring down this tower. A lot of early movement from Yamateh as well as X. Frankly, I'd like to see one of them doing exactly what we see AL doing. Just getting some farm up, getting the levels. Sandcade and leshrac both very level and farm dependent heroes. Musica Cold Snap. Do it! Oh, look at the Cold Snap. Procs. Oh, man. Tongue in knots here. But Soupy looking to pick off KYXY. Oh, the epicenter from X. No, he runs away. I think he could have got at least 1 kill. X just so afraid of the burst damage here. The impetus. Impetus in particular, I think, was what was scaring him there. But while this is happening, Bleek pressuring the top lane. Actually, Ice got the tower deny. Great deny. Reality Rift as well as Chaos Bolt. Yamateh just melts. Nothing he can do. And Bleek is now being an absolute bully on the top lane. Just walks in with the phase boot. Starts auto-attacking. Great bait by Ice. This will be a turnaround. No nuke. Meanwhile, AL going for the tower mid, but they don't have the burst damage. Something Orange can definitely look to defend. Winter is rotated over. He's got a heaping pile of ancients, and he's been farming them up. That's why we see him having items. Roar on the wrist, but no backup. Blake, Burrow Strike only on 1, in fact. And they pull back in KYXY. He's ever so low. The impetus is going to clean him up. Where's the heal from the Enchantress? There we go. Will it be enough to out-heal that Edict damage? I don't think so, especially with the solo hero Edict damage. Musica wanted to blink in, probably just to tank it, but not going to be able to. A crucial kill here. 19 kills, 13 minutes, only 2 towers. In the top lane, not for you. Have been downed here. Risk opting for the early drum, already using a charge. In a game like this, where frankly your team is just constantly picking fights, going for these cheap early items is just the best way to do it. Drum gives you so much in Chaos Knight. It gives your illusions more damage. It gives them more It gives you a larger mana pool. It gives you move speed on a hero that's already fast. And of course the aura, the active from the drums, very effective if you ever want to chase. But it seems like the Mirana, I mean, it is Bleak. He's normally the hard carry. They're just going to let her farm. The Chaos Knight will be, and the Queen of Pain will sort of be the semi-carries, the more active engagement heroes early on. And so far it seems to be working out for Ale. They're leading in terms of farm. They're even in terms of map control. And Arge, they feel like they have to make something happen. It's quite obvious from the way we see them grouping up, going for ganks. They're smoked. They want to make a go on the high ground here. Onto Snoopy. But it's spotted out immediately by Risk. Burrow Strike. The Mirana ult is dropped. The cast bouncing through. Ice trying to survive here. I think we're both going to go down. X and Ice in a lot of trouble. Tornado comes through. Risk just so damn tanky. Pops the wand. He will drop, though, to the Edict damage. And now maybe the turnaround onto Godot. Queen of Pain in the backlines, trying to damage down KYXY, who has been dusted up. But in fact, Musica's the one who needs to be careful. The Split Earth not going to be used. Just the lightning bouncing through. And after a lot of spells, only 3 heroes die. Expected to see more. But when you look at AL, they're just so mobile. It's very difficult to get more than one or two heroes. And hey, they got the Chaos Knight in exchange for, what was it, a solo Witch Doctor? That's definitely a trade they'll be happy with. It did cost them a smoke. Nonetheless, it's something they can live with. What will Bleak go for? That's what I'm most interested in. It could be an early drum. I've seen him do that before. Of course, Yasha would be the obvious standard choice, the boring one, if you will.
Radiant structures are fortified.
It's a bit late for a Midas, so I don't think we'll be seeing that. Meanwhile, the pressure commences on the middle lane. Cast bouncing onto Musica. Burrow Strike available. Will they use it? Tornado and Maledict both missing, but Bleak out of mana. Cold Snap. Bleak will go down, so whatever item he's planning on working on, it's going to be delayed just a touch. And slowly but surely, I mean, this is where Orange really shines. It's in these mid-game... it's not quite the mid-game yet, but we're just starting to get to that point. Burrow Strike onto the high ground, onto Snoopy. They're going to make it go here. The axes cleaving through. Will it be enough? Tornado as well. Snoopy dropping low. The Enchantress heal desperately. Godot tries to keep him alive. The impetus damage onto KYXY. Wow, that impetus rips these supports apart, and Snoopy in a lot of trouble. Ward spotting him out. Burrow Strike on 2. Epicenter to follow. Nothing to cancel it. Oh, what an epicenter by X, and he is just ripping them apart. Risk joins the fight. He's not actually spotted at the moment. A cold snap initially, but I believe he just used his invis, and now they're going to be chasing the other way. X Burrow Strike onto 2, and the axe is flying through. What a Burrow Strike. The arrow isn't going to hit. It is going to hit. No, I think it hit the boar, not the hero. Oh, man. Or just didn't hit at all. Risk, either way, is going to eat a Split Earth, and he's Bleak. 4-step onto the high ground. No, leap, sorry, by Bleak. Tornado on 2. Are they going to turn this one around? So much AoE from Arge, but the elusiveness versus AoE burst damage here. And for the moment, it's really hard to call who's having the advantage, but Cold Snap onto Bleak. One more proc should do the trick, and down he goes. Definite overextension for Bleak, and he's not going to be happy about this. He already died once in the previous engagement. Another death for Bleak, who's now 2-4. And it feels like Orange is just starting to wrest control of this game back. It began with the leshrac Edict damage on those early towers, and now it's that mid-game team fight that's really pulling through for them. The multiple hero Burrow Strikes, absolutely crucial by X, and on the back of that, he's got his arcade boots up. Not as much as you would like to see on a 17-minute Sinky, but he has the support, the secondary support for this team. So whatever he can get his grubby little claws on, he'll be quite happy with. I was about to say paws, but they're not really paws, are they? They're claws, and then... what do you actually call the feet on a scorpion? I forget the name for that. Should have studied more in my entomology classes. The study of insects. Alas. The failures of a long-forgotten youth. Here we go, Snoopy. Edict damage, just gonna shred him, and that's only a few seconds of it. 2 seconds stun. That's not the spammable, casual Beastmaster Rory's hoping for. And if you're wondering why I'm calling it a casual Beastmaster Roar, well, look at the maximum stun duration, level 4. 4 seconds. Compare that to that Beastmaster Roar. Hey, guess what? At level 1, it's 3. It's not even 4 seconds. At best, it's a level... At best, at level 16, it's 4. Risk so much damage, and he will go down. Godot might be the next to follow. The heal doing what it can. Yamateh finally out of mana. Already is the Soul Booster, and another tower gets claimed here by Arn. Was not denied. Meanwhile, Musica did manage to pick up a tower mid, and it looks like we're going to see another fight breaking out. Roar onto Godot. Godot, no heal. He will go down to Maledict, and the chase continues. EMP as well as Tornado flying through. Epicenter even channeled for Musica, and unfortunately, just not able to find him with it. Now that with that epicenter down, that's a big loss here, and it looks like AL is feeling confident, looking to go on the offensive. It's very dangerous still to fight against this squad. A 2-hero burrow strike coupled up with a couple invoker nukes could easily turn this around, and of course, Cask bouncing through, ever so devastating. Since we don't see Witch Doctor often in a pro game, let's talk about his skill build. He used to be a very popular support. Back in the days of tri-lanes, Witch Doctor was one of the favorites. The reason for that is his heal. Even at level 1, and especially at level 1 in fact, his heal just offers you so much. 16 heal per second for only 8 mana. If you look at the way that the heal scales, it's most cost efficient at level 1. And so back in the days of the old tri-lanes, Cask was just such a great defensive spell. If heroes ever try to jump on you and you run away from the creep wave, Cask can completely shut things down. It's not the best initiation, it's not the best near the creep wave, but you couple that Cask up with the heal, just such a great pushing tri-lane hero. But nowadays we don't really see tri-lanes. Witch Doctor hasn't been the favorite. Oh, leap away from Bleek, not going to be enough. Cold Snap and the Burrow Strike. Bleek goes down again. Wow, Bleek really having a hard time. Still managing to pick up a Yasha in 20 minutes. Frankly, to be dying 5 times, that's not too shabby. Not too shabby. But it's something they can't really afford to give up too many more of these kills. But back to the Witch Doctor. So the 1 point of Voodoo Restoration, that's why we see a single point. So effective early on. But interesting, some support Witch Doctors, more recently when we see him played, they will opt to level up the heal and only get maybe 1 point Maledict, or even skip Maledict entirely, and max Cask, because it is his only disable. But this is just this. It's an indication of how Orange wanted to play this in the mid game. They wanted to really go for that burst damage to pick off heroes like Queen of Pain, Chaos Knight, and Mirana before they can either leap away, Reality Rift away, or blink away. And Maledict gives you that. It gives you a nice chunk of burst damage. You throw Maledict on top of all the damage that leshrac brings to the table. The outrageous, the initiation of the Burrow Strike, the Roar as well, the Axes flying through. It's so much nuke power. And if a Maledict ever hits on any of these heroes, that will be a kill. Now, the only problem with Maledict, BKB will hard counter. You don't take Maledict damage through BKB. And speaking of BKBs, I highlighted this briefly on Risk. He appears to be going for one. In terms of item progression, leshrac has picked up a Bloodstone, 4 staff up on the Invoker. KYXY is going for the Wex build. And we've seen a lot of Exhort Invokers recently, but I feel like this was the perfect game to go Wex. You're up against the dual lane mid, so you want the mobility of the Wex. You want the early Ghost Walk available. You're unlikely to be getting hero kills with really any of the heroes on their lineup in the early stages, especially against the lineup that AL had. It's just something that's not likely to happen. So going for Wex gives you that sort of early access to Ghost Walk. It also gives you the extra mobility of Wex. And in the mid-game engagements, well, frankly, a Wex Invoker just offers you more. EMP Tornado is going to bring more to the table than an Ice Wall, a Sunstrike, a Cold Snap. And you still have a point in Exhort, so if you need, you can still throw down those big AoEs. Whether it's an Ice Wall or definitely Blast, gives you that access to them. So I like the fact that KYXY, is not afraid to ignore the flavor of the month and go for the Wex build. Sometimes it is the best build. I also think it's a little bit more reliable. Sunstrike, if you go Exhort and you're not able to hit Sunstrikes, well, the huge potential that is wasted. Cold Snap onto Bleek with the Tornado knocking it. He's going to look to leap away, but EMP finds him, and the Burrow Strike, and what a Burrow Strike by X! Great job there, and they are going to pick him off in exchange for nothing. So once again, Bleek goes down. Bleek is not looking like he's in any condition to carry this game. He's just dying too often. So if we look at the rest of AL right now, who's up to the task? Well, I keep on looking at the Chaos Knight. We should also check out Musica on this Queen of Pain, who's got a Ultimate Orb, still nowhere near a Sheepstick if that's what he wants to go for. But here's Risk, Pulse Nova, chopping him up, burning him to crisp. He gets incinerated. Ed goes down. Orange just continue to find the openings. Well, I talked about, you can gank one hero, but the other two are going to farm. Unfortunately for AO, everyone's getting ganked, and they're dying over and over. Normally, you expect these heroes to be a bit more elusive. A Chaos Knight Mirana, Queen of Pain, they've got blinks, they've got the move speed, the drum as well. Phantasm can actually be a nice way to disjoint spells. More importantly, to juke your opponent, since they won't know immediately which hero, or which illusion, which is the illusion, which is the real hero. Oh, Snoopy rotates through. Burrow Strike going to catch him out. Yamateh Splitter to follow. Queen of Pain joins the fight. Pulse Nova absolutely melting Snoopy, but Yamateh may pay for his insolence with his life still. He does have the Aegis. They claimed that Roshan a while ago. And X Burrow striking in. Lee dropping the ultimate. Bleek in a lot of trouble. Roar onto Bleek. Bleek gets knocked out. Another death for Bleek. The Aegis is used at the cost of 2 of those 3 core carries. That's a great trade if you're on Orange's side. And now they're also going to get the tower. Orange not done with the trades. And they are looking to be in a very commanding lead here. Great play all around from Orange. Are they actually going to go high ground? Oldie actually 3 points in the Inner Beast. They have the Edict. They have Yamateh to melt the creep wave. They might be able to do this. Edict onto the tower. Tower dropping fast. They've already used the glyph. The tower down to half. Orange maybe just going to get racks off of this. Tower will go down. No Forward Spirits yet. He wants to hold on to EMP Tornado. Speaking of that Invoker, 2,000 gold in the bank. What a performance from kyxy. He is just outrageously farmed. And look at him go with that right-click power. A drum charge was used by somebody in this, I believe. They get a melee racks, and are they just going to walk out for free? Oh, man. AL's going to be furious if that's how this game ends. Well, oh, they pull in Yamateh, but he is very tanky. EMP Tornado catches 3. What an EMP Tornado, and everyone's ever so low. The heal from Godot, they're going to escape with their lives. But that's the power of EMP Tornado. You try to initiate. It's a Shadow Demon disruption, essentially, but it's for your entire team. He hits 3 heroes. That's a triple disruption. Yeah, you don't get the illusions. The lift time isn't quite as long, but it's long enough to save those heroes. Give your team a chance to catch the footing. Yamateh may have overextended. Oh, arrow just missing him. There's the Reality Rift as well as that ultimate from the Chaos Knight. So many illusions. Those do 100% damage. Ice goes for the ult onto Musica. Is he going to get a solo kill? The wand is used, and I think that wand should be enough to keep him alive. It's going to be close, though. Ice, meanwhile, he's dead for sure. 1 by 1, Orange getting caught out. Queen of Pain actually dropping to that level 4 Maledict. And this is where maybe an early BKB would have been more useful. Epicenter on 2. What coordination by Orange, who just had the map control. They have the better position and mobility now. And yes, Orange are the ones with the mobility. Blink Dagger on Sand King. That Wex Invoker. Even AL can't run from these guys. Bleek, no item progression in the really... Oh, Burrow Strike in. Bleek was thinking about trying to juke in the trees. That ain't happening. He's still running. kyxy, Cold Snap cooling down. Couple of seconds to go here. Here comes the Beastmaster. Roar available. I think he was thinking about the Roar, but no, he's not. Oh, man, no Roar. No axes. Blake in. Oh, it's a Sunstrike. A Sunstrike just missing. Oh, that is when you know you've truly mastered Invoker. You've got 2 points in Exhort. You've been playing Wex all game, but no problem. Just invoke that Sunstrike and go for it. That massive chase, as much time as it wasted, that's fine. Yamateh's still going to claim a tower for his team, and he's now got an ultimate orb as well. Yeah, who would have thought, with the way this game started, that Orange would now be the ones just absolutely crushing it. I mean, Orange are one of the best teams Southeast Asia, along with Zenith. Just such an aggressive, confident team. But really, AO got a triple kill. All of their semi-carries were getting farmed. What does it go back to? Well, there were a few engagements where AO really dove too far. Bleek in particular got very greedy up top. He was baited well by the Witch Doctor. At first, the ganks required 2 or 3 heroes, but as Orange started to get levels and items, they could afford to send just a couple heroes, rather than 3, 4, 5 heroes to get a kill. Then they got the Aegis, and to me, that was the real game changer. Having that Aegis up on leshrac, that was a perfect situation for leshrac. Aegis. He uses everything. Absolutely. Oh, where was that Sunstrike? Just scouting. He used absolutely every last... He bringed every last ounce of mana out of his hero's lifeless husk of a corpse. And then he comes back to life with full mana and does it all over again. If they didn't have a leshrac who was so farmed, there's no way, as well as an Aegis, there's no way they would have gotten Rex. So that was definitely the point where this game started to slip away for AL. But, although AL are down with set of Rex, they have a very, very strong late game. Queen of Pain, Mirana, Chaos Knight. A lot of late game scaling here. Whereas if you look at Orange, well, for this stage of the game, leshrac is incredible. But if you ever get BKBs up, leshrac becomes useless. He's nothing to worry about. Similarly, Wex Invoker, well, oh man, kyxy. Hex picked up on him. God, is he having a game or what? 12, 3, and 7 in 28 minutes. He's been involved in, what is that, 19 of 27 kills. And no, this is not an Exhort Invoker who involves himself in kills from a safe distance, from all over the map. This is a Wex Invoker, an Invoker who's been participating actively in these engagements. Yamateh with the haste run. He wants Musica. Will he get him? Oh, the jukes by Musica, not enough. Yamateh as well. These two, kyxy and yamateh, have just been making things happen, and now Orange are going to look to breach the high ground. They force a buyback from Musica, and that means no Hex, or no Scythe of Vice, rather, for a very long time. And up against Orange, you really need a Scythe of Vice. You have to have some reliable initiation, because at this point, oh, speaking of reliable initiation, long range roar, they've got an Aghanims up, and he just melts. There's your buyback down the drain. Dust on the wrist. Not able to use his ultimate. He's got the Phantasm, but it won't matter. kyxy is godlike. Good lord, is he dominating the Sunstrike? Sunstrike hits wrist, but it's only level 2 Exhort, so he will survive. GG comes out from Snoopy. Really, the GG flies out from Snoopy. And Orange have just been, what a tour de force. I said they would have to win this with the mid-game, with the team fight. But they got a lot of ganks in there too, and Orange will advance, so congratulations to them. I guess this was deciding whether a team makes it into the playoffs.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
As for AL, I'm actually not sure if they will. But I'm going to try and find out while we have a second here. Oh, looks like AL, unfortunately, they are 4-10 after this match. Or not really, again, Prodota 2, so they're not going to advance from the looks of it. Orange now advancing to 8-6, and that's going to be enough for them. They're going to have a little more fun here with Musica. Catch him up with the Sunstrike, he'll go down. And that illusion being brutally punished. So Orange looks very strong, I have to say. I mean, not many teams could give up that kind of a start to a lineup with a Chaos Knight, Enchantress, Mirana, Queen of Pain. Heroes that really need, they're very momentum based, they're very level dependent. They're heroes that won't be effective in the mid game without items, without an advantage. They got that early advantage, it just wasn't enough. And so now we see yet another death for Bleek. He's only, I mean, in the end, he was tied with Music and Stoopy, but Bleek is normally the player on AL that's least likely to be giving up those kills. Unless he's playing Punch, then he'll kill himself easily. A trade here and there with a hook. GG, well played indeed. Orange take this one 34-18. They will be advancing to, I guess, the playoff stage of the Prodota 2 league. Unfortunately for AL, I believe if they're not already knocked out of contention, they will be after this game. They are quite far behind, but well played by both teams. Thanks again for watching, guys. I am LD of dotacommentaries.com. Hope you all enjoyed. I believe that's it for today's broadcast.